Hello there, a very great evening to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. Our hopes that you had yourselves a great and restful Saturday and are having your fun in whatever you are engaged in. Welcome to tonight's edition. These are the headlines. Local residents across the country have been commending the effectiveness of the government's 7 years program. Israel Habimana, a Kirehe district resident, has built a hydropower plant that will electrify more than 200 homes. A very good evening to you once again, and thank you for your company. Local residents across the country have been commending the effectiveness of the government's 7 years program in addressing social welfare issues, especially cleanliness in their homes.
In rural parts of the country like Kamonyi district, social welfare issues ranged from people who insisted on locking their livestock in their homes at night due to fears that they would be stolen, a lack of personal hygiene and cleanliness in their homes, and those who would intentionally consume water not safe to drink. Such mindsets have now been changed, however. In order to come out of poverty, I was given a pig, which produced piglets. Then I was given a goat, which produced kids. I was given home utensils and lessons on hygiene and cleanliness. The fact is, when you are sick all the time, you are unable to work. So I had to remain healthy to be productive. To do this, the government of Rwanda partnered with NGOs like FXB Rwanda. The cases of illnesses caused by poor hygiene and cleanliness reduced significantly, and even though they all have health insurance, not as many require medical treatment. We want them healthy and spending more time creating jobs for themselves and making a living, as opposed to constant visits to the doctor. We are working together with the central government and local leaders to help them to achieve this in the shortest time period possible. The government of Rwanda began the initiative back in 2017, and local leaders in Kamonyi attest to the fact that a lot of progress has been made since, though much more needs to be attained in this respect, and officials at the local administrative entities development agency have continued to urge beneficiaries not to waste opportunities they are being given to improve their lives. Central to these efforts is the promotion of cleanliness in homes and personal hygiene, because a lack of these important aspects of social welfare has proved to be an unsurmountable obstacle to development when ignored.
Rwandans and Congolese engaged in trade of domestic animals and meat are happy about the fact that their businesses has continued to prosper. The livestock and meat from Rwanda are sold at destinations in the DRC like Goma, Lubumbashi, and even Kinshasa.
The livestock and meat crossed the border early in the morning in trucks driven by Rwandans who are contracted by Congolese nationals to deliver it to them because of the demand that exists in the DRC for such products, while a reliable supply exists in Rwanda, which means slaughterhouses near the border are kept busy throughout the night to be able to meet the morning deadline, and Rwandan businessmen and women are happy to meet the demand. Congo has a far bigger market for meat because people there really like it, especially in major towns and cities. We take the meat to the Kahembe market over the border in Goma, and our business partners then deliver it as far away as Kinshasa. One major slaughterhouse near the border processes between 50 and 60 cows a day, most of the meat ending up in the DRC. For example, today we slaughtered 56 cows, and close to 80% of that meat ends up crossing the border into Congo. Figures from the Ministry of Trade and Industry indicate that last year close to 6.5 million heads of cattle and close to 12.5 tons of meat was sold to the DRC, with the National Agricultural Export Development Board collaborating these figures because it says that more than half of the 22 plus tons of meat the country exports annually go to Congo.
The former president of Malawi, Her Excellency Joyce Banda, reiterated that during her tenure as president, she encountered various gender discrimination issues and that it required a boldness and strong decision-making to succeed in her duties. While speaking to our colleague Pasco Buhura, she reiterated what needs to be done in order to achieve gender inclusivity for the development of the African continent. Take a look.
Yeah, you know, my position is unique because I started out as Member of Parliament and I had done development work at community level for a long time. It was the chiefs in the area who decided, why don't we go to Parliament where the laws are made so you can contribute towards changing laws that negatively impact on us as communities. So I went just to become a Member of Parliament. But as fate would have it, the president then the same week appointed me Minister of Women and Children. So, well, now serving as minister for me is to look at what is it that I can do to change the situation of people that I represent. I've always believed that leadership is a love affair. You must fall in love with the people and the people must fall in love with you. So the people had loved me enough to persuade me to go to Parliament. Now I'm in Parliament, I'm Minister of Women and Children. I passed the domestic violence bill, and I was very happy. Then the president said, why don't you become, I'm appointing you foreign minister. For me, the question was, what about the women and children? And the president said, no, it's time to step up. Down the road, elections of 2009, out of the blues, the president said, I want you to run with me, because the presidential candidate has to appoint a running mate. This is something that I had never thought, I'd never dreamt about, and I had seen how a president can mistreat a vice president. So I said no. So it took a lot of persuading by my husband for me to accept even to serve as vice president. So I get to the position of vice president. And then the constitution of Malawi says, when a president passes away, the vice president, who he has already run with him, who was on the ballot paper, will take oath. So the president died, I had to take oath. It took 3 days for the people to accept that a woman can take oath. I mean, back and forth. In fact, the Army General had to intervene. The international community had to intervene in order for me to be allowed to take oath.
Afterwards, when the elections came, I understand that the result didn't accept you to come back. Yes, but do you think maybe it is connected to the fact that you are a woman?
And more, because what happened is before I went into office, there was so much corruption taking place and people getting away with it. Now, when I came in and I was elected, and in fact it was the European Union ambassador who elected me, to say that corruption that your predecessor left is continuing. Check the integrated financial management system. And when I did, I told the nation, I have no choice but to arrest people. And some of those that were in that government were the perpetrators of not only that, but even the fact that they stood in the way of the constitution for me to win, were in government. And what they didn't want, I mean, were in the country, what they didn't want is for me to win again, because I was pursuing those cases. And I have never regretted, because I did what was right. By the time I left, 72 people had been arrested and they were in jail. The fact that I was a woman, yes. When you get into leadership and you're a woman, there's a lot of abuse. And I ask women all over the world to be brave. Because in Malawi, there's this belief that when you have two cows, one is female, one is male, the male one is the bull you will take to the farm to pull the cart. The female one will stay at home for the milk. So to discourage me, they were saying, how unfortunate can we be to have a cow, a female cow, pulling the cart. Today, you know what they say? They say, oh, it was better when that female cow was pulling the cart. Yeah, so you must be prepared to be abused as a woman. They will judge you harshly. There will be a lot of expectations. They will even judge how you dress. Yeah, so I mean, this is how I dress for the many, many years. I use this like ordinary African Malawian women. the question they asked me, the young people now like yourself were saying, are you going to be wearing those kangas in State House? Yeah, for me, yes, I wear these kangas in State House. Because for me, it's about people that are not like me, that are not well-to-do like me. So as a woman leader, you are judged harshly. But then that keeps you alert. For me, you can, because figures don't lie, it is only my time when the economy grew by 6.2%. And nobody has reached that mark again, up to now.
And after leaving, actually, and as far as I can recall, we've had so far another African woman in Liberia.
She was earlier than me.
Yeah, oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. She was, but she came out. She left after you again.
Yes,
but
yes, true.
I'm talking about Johnson Sirleaf.
Yes.
Ellen, and again, today we have Samia Suluhu Hassan,
Yes.
who
star
might
performer.
have exactly.
A star performer.
Now, what do you think has changed so far in terms of the role of women in Africa, as far as also we are talking about the inclusivity and gender empowerment on the continent?
Due to underrate the enormity of the task of us reaching gender equality. We're looking up to Rwanda and saying we wish as Africa we could get there. But I think we must also pat ourselves on the back, that those that have been given the opportunity to lead have led well. I look at Samia now, and they were taking stock of her performance for the first 1 year, in the next year. Star performer. We feel so proud. So what we have done is the 6 of us the 2 are in office, the 4 of us who have been there before, we have a very strong network. We have a team, we are a team of elders. So we discuss issues of African women participation in leadership. We are hoping we are going to get a 7th one this year. So let me leave that one, but we are watching very closely that we may get another female president in Namibia.
Women are mothers. That also can be, to some actually, might say that it's another aspect which might add on their capacity to lead, because you have those weight you are talking about on your shoulders as feeders of the family and all that. But again, today as we talk of this kind of gender inclusivity and the gap we are experiencing in Africa, what do you think can be done or needs to be done so far to improve the situation? Not only in politics but also in business.
And to start with, to highlight what you've just said, it's business first. I have found that women that are economically empowered are better able to compete for political elective office because they now have the resources. Many areas on our continent lose good leaders because they are women and they can't mobilize the resources they require in order to compete. It's not cheap. Yeah, so, but what is it that we can do to increase women? There's so much that we can do. Men are sitting on the driving seat in most countries. It is the relationship we build with them in order to open space at the policy formulating table. And I've been saying now in my speech and before anywhere that being confrontational and challenging men will not help us. If we want to be, I am a feminist, but an African feminist. But if you want to do what happens all over the world, you go march, scream, shout at the president and think that an African president will appoint people because you screamed at him, we are wasting time. So the best we can do is our male counterparts is to engage them, is to get them to the table, is to respect them. And they will respect us in return. And the open space, they understand that we're in majority. But it is the approach. Sometimes when you are so aggressive, so confrontational, the men will just close the door and we lose out. So sometimes African younger women, they don't agree with me. They say that, no, we must push, we are so passive. But this is what I'm saying to you. The route of engagement and bringing the men on board in order to open space and appoint women is the winning. I have tried it even in my house with my husband, Richard Band. Yes, I must respect him first. I must not confront him in order for him to support me in what I do. Do you really believe that a leader of wisdom and a leader like President Kagame, you can scream at him to do what you want and he will do because you are a woman? That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So my appeal to my fellow women is to respect our fellow leaders, our male leaders, and engage them and persuade them to open space for women. And they do. And they do. We are doing well. Yeah, and they don't lack role models on the continent. Look at this country, 63% in parliament. So there's no excuse that another country cannot do it.
I understand you have your foundation, Joyce Banda Foundation. What are you actually trying to achieve, and what so far can you say that has been your contribution?
Yeah, my mission in life is to assist women, youth, and girls gain social and political empowerment through business and education. So that's what the Joyce Banda is. The Joyce Banda is focuses on 4 areas. Number 1, it is skills training, and so financial inclusion and digital inclusion. The second one is skills training and value addition. The third one is the environmental management, and the last one is advocacy. So that's what Joyce Banda Foundation does. It's an organization of 750,000 women. We build schools. We feed 15,000 children every single day. We sponsor girls' high school education, and we also sponsor tertiary.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Joyce Banda, for speaking to RB.
Thank you.
Thanks to our colleague Pasco Buhura. And moving ahead to a story that was interrupted back. Israel Habimana, a Kirehe district resident with only primary level education, made a new move to build a hydropower plant that will supply electricity to more than 200 households in the area. Prince Manzi.
It is a 10-kilometer-long journey from where Habimana resides and where the hydropower plant is. Israel Habimana is 60 years old. Upon elaborating on the process of generating electricity, you could guess that he is at least a bachelor's degree graduate, but it is the opposite. I completed the primary level, but I did not undertake electricity courses. Rather, I think this was just a talent. Habimana says that though difficultly, but he managed to achieve his goals. It was very difficult to achieve this, but because it was in me to achieve this as a solution in my neighborhood, I gave my all. Those who light the electricity from the hydropower plant constructed by Habimana Israel do not have counters and only pay 1,000 Rwandan francs monthly. And he introduced cables, and he said that he's going to supply electricity. Now we have power, and there's no issue. After accessing the electricity, we are happy, as we used to be lonely and using traditional ways for lighting. But after Israel's innovation, we benefited. The Habimana's hydropower plant can supply electricity to 300 homes. As homes increase, the lesser the gap in funding the access of electricity. We have a request, as the ability to supply the electricity in neighborhoods across was only possible with use of thin cables. Hence, the electricity there is insufficient. This is the issue, as we are in need of electricity poles. Israel Habimana says that this project costs 155 million Rwandan francs, and he personally donated 56 million Rwandan francs. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. With only 3 months left until Rwanda hosts the Veterans Club World Cup Championship, the Bank of Kigali has signed an agreement with Easy Group as the sponsor of this event to ensure its smooth operation. Charlene Folaha with the details.
From September 1st to September 10th, 2024, approximately 150 retired football celebrities from around the world will be in Rwanda for the Veteran Clubs World Championship. Dr. Diane Karusisi, the CEO of the Bank of Kigali, stated that this event is not just about sports, but also aims to strengthen relationships between countries and promote business development in Africa.
And to us, this partnership is exactly that, getting people together. I think it's going to be, first of all, a lot of fun. But beyond the fun, we'll get people to discuss, to exchange ideas, to see how we can transform our continent. Because we see a lot of opportunities for business. We have all these legends that come here. We want to see how we can, engage them to do business in Rwanda, because we have a lot to offer as Rwanda, and we want to be, as a bank, we want to be sort of the channel through which everyone who's coming to Rwanda can do business here. And honestly, we are excited, and we can't wait for September to arrive so we can have fun, we can talk business, we can innovate together and see how we can together develop and transform our continent.
Fred Siew, the CEO of the Veteran Clubs World Championship, believes that this agreement with the Bank of Kigali is significant and appreciates Rwanda's acceptance to host this historical event.
Pourquoi le Rwanda? Le Rwanda parce que, comme je l'ai dit tantôt, c'est aujourd'hui, pour moi, le pays modèle.
We choose to host this event in Rwanda because I believe this country is a model. Often, people think that innovation only happens outside of Africa, but that is not the case. I have closely followed this country's development and have been impressed by its rapid progress. Additionally, we have observed that events organized here are always successful, which is why we decided that this championship should take a place in Rwanda. Furthermore, this festival will be a way to unite Africans to bring something new to the world as we continue to develop.
The Veteran Clubs World Championship will be held in Rwanda this year and will take place annually, with Rwanda hosting it for 3 consecutive years. Charlene Furaha, RTV News.
And from this, we come to the end of tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production, as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on today's edition. And I will say, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.